Okay.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench podcast here on Tuesday. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are waiting in the waiting room, this is the most real behind-the-scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan French, streaming live with a full studio of people here in studio. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody like I always do, right? So let's go ahead and introduce Mr. Rick Rains. What's going on, buddy? How are you today?
Hey, good evening, Las Vegas. I'm excited. We got a great show, a great guest tonight. We've got Jamie. If you guys ever need to know anything about wood, you need to get taught about wood. If you want to have something wood made, this is the lady that you need to go to. She is #1 on the West Coast, and I'm getting pumped up to hear what she's got to say.
Absolutely. And, you know, she could teach Bret a few things about getting wood.
Yeah,
right?
Just so happens,
I want to know about wood. Walked right into that.
just so happens I'm all about wood myself.
Right. What's going on, Bret Jenny?
Just enjoying my week, man. Trying to get some work done. Tuesday's supposed to be the most productive day of the week. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. So anything happening new in your life besides just real estate? I mean, is that all it is?
Just real estate, man. Today I did a bunch of letters and emails off to the builders to see if they wanted to do anything with Bitcoin. So, I don't know, man. I just started emailing a bunch of people. Like, I sent it to, like, the CEO of Toll Brothers and stuff.
Did they call you or what?
Not yet, surprisingly.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Surprisingly.
Yeah,
I'm so surprised.
I'm so surprised.
That's fine. I'm just getting my feet wet, and I don't really expect. I mean, if someone says yes, that's awesome, but I'm not expecting yes. I just want them to
Anytime
associate
soon.
me with that when they finally arrive that they need to do that. So,
Right.
you know.
We also have our guest of honor here. Her name is Jamie, and what it is, I'm going to go across the room here and introduce everybody. But Jamie, I want to appreciate you coming on to the show, and thank you so much. Yeah. Jamie's an entrepreneur, and we're going to get into detail about what she's about, and also really just being an entrepreneur going, you know, pre-COVID, now post-COVID, and then what she does and how she enjoys living in Las Vegas and what she thinks about the Las Vegas housing market, right? So we're going to get into that. Thank you for coming on.
We'll throw that in too, she says.
Also, we have Shannon Miller. Shannon Miller's back. What's going on, Shannon?
What's going on?
How's life?
Oh gosh, it's been what, 3 days? So
Yeah,
pretty good so
3
far.
days.
I'm doing okay.
Past 3
I
days,
know,
a lot of it
I
is
made
like-
3 days.
Wow.
I
Whoa,
know.
you
I
made
know.
it through.
I'm proud of
What does that
myself,
mean?
honestly.
3 days.
Oh well, what was it? Saturday we saw each other last.
But you did make it through the start of the week.
I made it through. Well, barely.
Hey,
Wow.
Barely made
You're
it.
still
yeah.
here.
We had taken bets, and Bret didn't think you were going to make it. I did. I did.
You know what? He's my friend now. We're officially unfriended. I'm
I
gonna
would not
unfollow
bet
you.
against this girl.
Always bet on black.
Yeah.
Bet on red. Bet on
Always
What
bet
are
on
you
red.
talking about? We going red. Okay.
We're going red.
And last, but save the best for last, right?
Oh, look at
We're
that.
going to go over to Corin Lujan. What's going on, Corin? How are
Hey,
you?
I'm great. Feeling magical tonight.
You're feeling
Hey.
magical.
Yeah, my dog turned 14 yesterday. so
wow. That's
Wow.
so sweet.
Sammy?
I've had him for since he was 8 weeks old. My
Yeah.
second longest relationship with a male. So.
You just got him when we had first met, right?
Right?
So
My
good.
second longest relationship with a male.
Wait, what's
What
your
about your
dog?
dad? Third longest.
It's not. That doesn't count.
That's
Well,
not
no,
fair. That's
well-
not
That's
fair.
different.
What
I
kind of
know,
dog?
but-
What kind
He's a
of dog?
mutt. He's a border collie mix.
Oh,
He's a
super
cutie.
cute.
He is a
We need to
cutie.
see pictures.
He's
Can
a
we
cutie.
upload that, please? Thank you.
Right? So let's get into the show today. We're going to talk a lot about real estate financing like we always do, but we're going to talk with our guest of honor here about her being an entrepreneur. But I want to tell you guys, you know, again, thank you so much. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please show support. If you have any comments during the show, you can make any comments and we'll answer them. And let's get right into it. You know, the big problem I see out there with people and entrepreneurs is that you look at them and they're not recovered. Some of them are still trying to recover Some of them closed their business altogether. And so, they had some help from government in some ways, and some of them really just kind of
Reinvented themselves.
They reinvented themselves or grinded it out. And then you have people like her where she's gone through the whole process and it seems like she's thriving. So let's go back to you here for a second, and I want to go ahead and turn that off. So first off, Jamie, what do you do, and tell us about your situation as far as coming to Las Vegas? Like, how did you get here, and how did you start in Las Vegas? Were you born here? How did that work?
No, I grew up in L.A. and I moved here 2004 when housing market was just starting to really ramp up.
What brought you here?
I was with somebody that got a job here, and
Gotcha.
I'm like, okay,
Story of minis.
Yeah.
I mean, people,
But you know what? I'd lived in the Midwest for a good middle portion of my life,
Okay.
and I don't like the Midwest.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I 100% agree with you.
And you know what was killing me though there is because I build furniture.
Yeah.
Like, nobody back there understands
I
custom
know.
furniture.
I know. I know.
It's the Walmart mentality.
I know.
And I hate to put it that way, but
I know.
it's true.
Menards.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
I had to get to a place
I
where there
know.
were people with
Same reason I came out here.
Yeah.
Same reason I came out here.
But
Yep.
I moved here and opened up a school, and honestly, if I could clone myself, I could teach, 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's a woodworking school?
It is, yeah. Teach people how to build furniture.
What's the name of it? Where's
Who are
it
you
at?
connected with through the school?
Well, I'm actually connected with 3 different places. I teach for CSN and UNLV, and then I also, this is my favorite part, but I teach like drug offenders on Thursday nights.
Wow.
With the
Okay.
Clark County court system, and those guys are the best.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really great.
What
Really amazing.
got you into that? That's
You know, there was a policewoman who took my class, and she said, "Hey, I work with this judge in town who."
your wood thing.
Yeah,
class?
she took my
Wood
woodworking
make-
class.
Oh, okay.
And she said, "You would be great teaching the kids that we have that we're trying to rehabilitate."
Right.
So
Give them opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what? I love
Right.
them. I
Give them
just- I
something in their
love 'em.
life.
Yeah.
To
Let me
fo-
give you an example. This is a really sad story, but a few years ago, it was Memorial Day. We had a class on a Monday, and I said, "Hey, you guys, it's Memorial Day next week. Should we cancel class so you guys can do picnics with your family?" And they looked at me like, "What's a picnic?"
Wow.
And it was kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so I went and I bought a little grill and bought some food.
You did a
and
picnic.
we did a picnic
That's
at
cool.
the wood shop.
Yeah.
And this one kid who was kind of a scary kid. I mean, he had a really bad past.
Yeah.
He came up to me and he's like, "This is the best day of my life."
I mean, you think about that, man. It's like things that most of us will take for granted and
Completely.
just skip over.
Right.
They don't have, they've never had in their life. And
I
it
will
makes
tell
you
you
really,
this,
I
Brett,
mean,
And
My
it gives
school-
them vision, though.
It
I mean, it
does.
gives them vision and experience.
Lets them
and
know
what,
someone
What
cares.
else can
Yeah.
happen? What else can I create in my life that I've never experienced or seen in even my thoughts before?
You need to be taking one of my classes.
Hey,
serious.
everybody
What's
needs to take
happening?
one of
All right.
Jamie's classes.
I got to tell you that when you come to my school, it's not really about woodworking as much as it is connecting with people and
Yeah.
being creative and
Developing.
finding a community.
Yeah.
It's really that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that everything, though? I mean, honestly, you
Everybody
build a
wants to feel like
business,
they
it's
belong.
still community. It's still
everybody wants to be able to
culture.
connect with humans.
I
I mean,
have a
that's
question.
what we need to do.
It's
you know?
a common
Agreed.
goal.
So
Yeah.
I have a question. One is, how long have you been teaching? And number two, what size of a school and how many students do you teach at any one time? And how many classes are there?
Well,
Jeez, Rick.
Jeez, Rick, I could
just-
load
it
it.
just all go
One at a
together.
time,
I'm just kidding, man.
So I've been teaching since '94.
All right.
Started teaching in '94. You know what? A friend of mine, I live back in Ohio, and a friend of mine called me and said, "Do you know somebody that could teach some adult ed classes for us at the University of Akron?" And I said, "I can do it." And I sucked in the beginning. I just didn't know what I was doing. And but I got better and better and better and better. And so I was there teaching for 10 years, and then I'm like, the school thing is just crazy here, but I can't sell furniture in Ohio. The economy was just awful.
Yeah, no,
It's awful.
I get it. I know.
So how many kids, how many students at any one time?
10 at a time, and usually I'm 3-4 nights a week, so I've got 30, 40, 50 people in my school.
Wow.
So it's
during
pretty
the
much
week.
almost a one-on-one type of thing. So that's really cool.
Well, you know what? I keep it small because I want to keep it intimate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And safe.
Yeah.
You know, look, if you guys have a screw up in your profession, somebody gets a paper cut,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
If I have a screw up, you know,
Oh, there goes your hand and finger.
So here's something
I'm sure you can get it back
gives
over
you
there.
that gives you an idea just
some ice.
how good Jamie is. She's got all her fingers.
There you go.
That's how good she is.
Let me see those
Good.
scars. Okay, cool.
Still a celebration on that.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Your students that come in, do you require any sort of background?
I'll tell you, I prefer that they don't have any, honestly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when, and it's mostly the middle-aged men. Sorry, Rick.
Oh, she called me middle-aged.
That was
Wasn't that
so
nice?
nice.
Oh, Rick's
wow.
middle-aged over
very
here.
We got
They
love
come
going
in and
on
they
over
go,
here.
I already know what I'm doing. I don't need to take the
She knows
beginning
how to
class.
work it.
And
When the male
Hey.
Karens walk in,
Hey, listen.
let's face it.
Listen, I'm gonna fess up in that I've known Jamie for a number of years, and I've taken a few of her classes, so I know what's going on. And believe me, when she says that these guys come in and they think that they know what they're doing, I watched one guy try and cut his finger off. Was it 2 or 3 times?
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
He went full out trying to cut his fingers off. That's just the type
Wow.
of
Which is
people-
always why you give me a bottle of booze at Christmas time, right?
yeah, always.
As
Just
long
so I
as it's
can-
bourbon, we're good.
Right.
Need a little extra kick in that.
It's a
Yeah.
scary profession. There's no way around it. But I would rather have somebody like you that's maybe never taken a class. Because
Interesting.
I can teach you the right way to do
Yeah.
it. But when people come in with bad habits,
Yeah.
it's so hard to
It's like that in a lot of professions. Same thing with real estate. I don't
You
want to
know,
hire
it's
somebody who's
true.
been doing it for years because they come in with their own bad habits.
It's
and then-
easier for me to work in consulting.
Yeah.
It's easier somebody that's brand new, that's
Yeah.
just kind of
I
launching.
would love to come, but I'm not allowed near sharp objects.
Oh, yes, you would.
Yes,
Yeah.
you would.
Hey,
And I,
Dude,
look, I
she'll-
gotta tell
she
you,
admits
Yeah.
it.
here's a funny story,
It
though.
is.
One time I was
I'm
teaching a
trying
class,
to
and it
keep
was
on my
really weird, but
fingers.
there were 9 women in this class and 1 guy. And one of the women came up to me, and she said, I don't understand it. We took this class to meet guys.
Oh, no.
And it's all women. And
We
I'm like,
took
"But
this
that's
class to
like-"
meet guys. There's one dude
the
in there.
opposite.
And I'm
The
like, well, are you
opposite.
single? No, I'm kidding. But, there's a trend with women in woodworking right now. It's wonderful.
That's
where
funny
where can
to
somebody
meet
take
guys.
that, like in their profession? Like, they go and
Right.
they get certified, and I don't know what that looks like on the back end, but where can they take that professionally?
Well, I will tell you that there's just about no other hobby that can you could start making money right away.
Yeah.
And I
Like
think
what? What do they make?
this table.
Ooh.
I mean,
Furniture.
If
Fair.
you take my first 6-week class, the basic class, and then you sign up for a table making class, you will walk out with a table like this in another 6 weeks.
Really?
Wow.
And then it comes down to your marketing skills, and that's on you, not her.
You know, my daughter had a step stool
Yeah.
in woodwork shop.
Yeah,
in
woodworking.
School.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. When her dad and I divorced, we fought over that footstool.
Really?
I'm like, I want
Wow.
it. I want it.
So one of the things that Jamie had me make, I made 2 of them at the same time. Never done it before. Were 2 walnut rocking chairs for my grandkids.
You made rocking chairs?
You made
Yeah.
a
Wow.
you made
Rocking chairs for my kid. for
Like
my
you made real
grandchildren.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's so sweet.
and those things are like those kids love that stuff, and it's
Wow.
really is furniture.
It is.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Well,
you
that's
said
keep
it-
forever type
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
Like that's generational.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
You keep passing it down.
I want to ask you about. You mentioned like this is a trend now for women, new trend for
Definitely.
women. Why are women other than to meet guys who don't know how
No.
to do
It's like the new online
that was a
dating.
little bit of an aberration because the women
Okay.
come to the shop and they've got their grubby clothes on. I mean, they are not glamorous at all, but they're kicking ass. Can I say
Really?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can say that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're just killing it in the
Shit,
shop.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, thank you, Brett.
Like, okay, so it's just for fun. So
No, but some of my students have started businesses.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'll tell you, I have a student that's back in Ohio that started making, and it's a very niche market, but he makes these banks out of the old post office doors that had combination locks on them.
Oh,
Sure.
Have you
okay.
seen those?
Yeah, yeah.
And he markets them to bankers. Okay, so
Smart.
he does about 15 craft shows a year. That's it.
Yeah.
And he told me he just bought a Corvette. I mean, come on, like
Dude,
he's selling.
that's
them.
like one a month.
These
That's
high
awesome.
end
Yeah.
banks that.
Wow.
But he found a specialty in a market that
Right.
If
yeah.
you find your
Found a
niche,
niche.
in this
Yeah.
market, you can kill it in woodworking.
Yeah.
So is there anything in specific that you enjoy making or more than other things? In other words, we mentioned tables, but what is it that you are somewhat passionate about?
Well, most of my studying taught me that making chairs was the hardest thing, so everybody
Yeah.
discouraged me from making chairs. And once I started making chairs, I thought, these are fabulous. They take a great deal of thought to make them comfortable and safe so that you don't tip over in them or, and I love making dining room chairs. Love making
They're
tables
heck
and desks.
expensive. Chairs are heck expensive.
I need an office chair.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
And
so
it's gotta
here's
be
the-
special.
But here's the
Like,
thing: like
that's the
people
thing.
come to me and they're like, "Hey, can you make a chair?" And I'm like, "I can absolutely make a chair, but it's not going to be $200, and it's not going to be $400, and it may not be $600. So,
Ooh,
you
like
know,
how much then?
maybe 8,000.
Wow.
I don't know.
8,000?
Depends.
No,
Yeah.
800.
800,
Don't kill me on that one.
But that's, I
but
mean,
I'm
that's,
just saying.
that's
That's a
fair though.
special
I mean, you think about
customized
it.
chair.
You can go on Amazon to even just like get
Yeah.
a basic chair, and they're charging 1, 2, and I
Yeah.
know this because I did the
And
research
they're not
earlier.
homemade. Yeah.
And it's you get it in. It's not the color. It's not the thing. It's
It's
crap.
not even comfortable
right?
sometimes.
And then you get something like that.
Yeah.
That could be generational,
But-
right?
this
is
like
high,
the rocking
this is
chairs.
high-end
Yeah.
crafts.
It's high-end.
It
Yeah,
is high-end.
that's something that you
Pay
would
for what
pass
you get in
on.
life.
You never
Yeah.
you
You
never
know?
get rid of. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's neat. And you
Really
make
cool.
Let's
I
go
wanna see
build some
pictures.
stuff.
So let's go back to what I want to say about the entrepreneur part, because I want to bring this up. So did you have any challenges going through COVID, right? When everybody shut down, like what did you experience?
Well, I will tell you that, I closed the school immediately,
Right.
it, but I had such a backlog of commission work that I had to build that I went to work every day and I was just building and building and building. And
Sure.
I actually really enjoyed it. It was kind of the solitude.
Kind of go at your own pace.
beautiful.
Completely. It
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
It's all choice.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think that
Yeah.
most artists really, we're
You
a
do.
little bit of,
Yeah.
Introverts.
we just
A little bit.
You got you got your own world in your head, and
Right.
you like
And
to-
you know what?
yeah.
I have a pair of noise reducing headphones, put them on, crank up something,
Yeah.
and I'm just working away. And the next thing I look at the clock, it's 9:00
Yeah.
at night. And I'm like, wow, where'd the day go?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Having
Yeah.
fun is where they went.
So
doing what you
I
love.
was fortunate in that on occasion, Jamie and we got along really well, and she would come and confide in me. And a couple of times, when you're in these classes, or even when I went to visit her after, and she was holding a class, so she would stand over in the corner, and she's got this piece of wood over there, and she'd just go like this, man. And then she'd say, "That
So
guy,
bad.
that
Insert
guy,
head here.
yeah,
I'm
that guy in the red shirt,
Yeah.
that guy in the red shirt." I go,
Look,
just calm down.
As long as I've been teaching, I've only had to ask a couple of people to not come back.
Oh,
And it does kind of break my
Wow,
heart. to
what
do
did
that.
they do?
You
Try
know,
to
one-
cut their fingers
Try-
off
yeah, I was
3
gonna say,
times.
trying to cut their
Well,
fingers off.
I had a retired doctor who was really a wonderful guy, but by the time he retired and came to me, he had a tremor. And it scared the hell out of me
Right,
that
right.
he would
Yeah.
be cutting
Yeah.
something, and I'm like, dude.
Hopefully, he retired quite a few years before those tremors
No,
started.
he didn't. And the funny thing too is he also had a really.
she said doctor, not surgeon.
Yeah,
Two
good
different
point.
things. Okay.
Good point.
But here's something funny. He actually had a finger that had been cut and sewn back on, and it was all jacked up.
Upside
And-
down?
And I said, "What's the deal with that?" And he said, "I cut it in medical school, and my mentor said, you need to make a decision. You're either going to be a doctor or a woodworker." And he stupidly chose medicine. But he came back to it, but he came back a little too late. So that's a little tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. Well, and
yeah.
honestly, if you're gonna cut your finger off during med school, then you probably shouldn't be in woodwork.
You shouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've had
You know, maybe it was a good decision. I don't know.
You
just
guys
saying.
certainly in all your professions, you've met people that are spacey, right? Like just they
Yep.
can't hold a thought or concentrate. I've had people in the shop that do that, and that to me is really scary.
That might
because
not
you
work
tell
out so
them,
well in that industry, right?
Dude, you send them to the saw and you say, "Cut this board," and they're like, "How do I do that?"
Right.
And
You're like, but I just showed you.
right,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
a
Gotta
couple-
pay
Never, I've
attention.
never met anybody like that.
So how
ever.
is it going now? Now that COVID's kind of on the backside, and you.
Well, I will tell you,
Uh,
Rick, I am not often a good judge of this, but for some reason in the fall, I just thought that COVID was going to be bad in January and February. I don't know why, because I'm not often right about the stock market or real estate or anything. But I said,
We'll
I'm going to be
notate that.
closed. So I closed in January and February, and I'm not teaching at all right now. I have a few
okay.
guest teachers teaching for me, but
Right.
I'm stepping
So-
back and building right
Well,
now.
you
So
were
you
right.
still
Yeah.
have a lot of commission work to do.
Oh
then.
man, I'm building some great pieces right now.
That's
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw on YouTube and also on other channels like social media that they kind of illustrate how you create some of these tables, right?
Right.
There was some where it's like you go out and you get wood and then you kind of carve it out. And then I don't know, there was like a solution that you put that like
Resin.
dries. Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Like an epoxy or
yeah, it's like an
resin, yeah.
epoxy. They sell these things for like
Thousands.
$4,000 to $8,000.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, let me
makes
tell you,
sense.
let me give you though. Can we get on to the discussion of social media a little bit?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, I
'Cause-
like it.
That's right.
Let's talk
go.
about content creators, because I have a grudge against that, because there are a lot of people, like you say, they put up a channel, they're making these tables, and they don't know anything about it. And if you're just signing into a channel and watching, you think you're watching somebody
Yeah.
that knows what they're doing.
Expert of their craft.
There's a ton of people out there that are posers, and I think it diminishes everyone's craft when the posers are out there.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. There is a guy that has a pretty popular channel right now, and he will send me an email and he'll say, "How do I build this whatever?"
Gosh.
And I'll send him the information and tell him what tools he needs or whatever. And you know, a week, 2 weeks later, it's up on his channel, like he built this cabinet.
Well, how would you tell somebody how they can filter that out? What back end research can they do to ensure that whomever they're purchasing from actually knows what they're doing?
Well,
so if you sell a $4,000, $8,000 table,
Yeah.
they're getting what they're paying for.
Right. You know what? It's hard because the market is just flooded with people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to do your research. You have to, see if there's people that have given feedback about that, or
So
The Google.
one of the ways
The Google.
one of the ways to know Jamie's legitimacy is tell us about your Ellen experience.
Ooh, you were on.
You were on Ellen DeGeneres show?
Wait,
well,
what?
you talking about the Ellen show so she had a furniture competition.
The Ellen?
Yeah.
Like one
Is
of my
there any
favorites.
other
She's just one of my
As
favorites, you guys.
as Rick would say, you know how like Oprah, the big O?
The big O.
The big O.
When I
Yeah.
say that, that's not what I think of.
Yeah. Say, maybe in this context, you don't want to be using that, Dan.
My age range.
You know,
yeah,
maybe
I don't think
another
so.
conversation, dude.
Hey, I saw a lot of ears.
Of all the, right? How did we just...
What the hell?
A lot of
just
ears
happened?
perked
I'm
up
sorry.
when I
I'm just
said
trying
that.
to talk...
I have to leave.
Anyway,
I have things
anyways,
to do.
back to what we were saying. Sorry, go
Well,
ahead.
So Ellen was interviewing people to be on this competition, and a friend of mine called me and said, "You should do it." And I went out to dinner with him, and we had some drinks, and then I went home and I applied online, and it was like the equivalent of drunk texting. So,
Really?
so I a little bit drunk applied.
A little bit drunk of life.
And
That's great.
they called me the next day, and they're like,
You're like, did I fill that out?
right. Well, to tell you
Right
the
on,
truth, I was
man.
a little
Some of
concerned
the
about
best
that.
things.
That's the best shit happens that way.
Honestly, you remove the filter.
So they
Yeah.
kept
Just go
paring
for
it down, and they're like, okay, we're down to like 40 people. Now
Yeah.
we're down to 20 people. Now we're down to 16 people. And interestingly enough, you had to like go and live in Los Angeles. I think it was for two months.
Yeah.
2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And when I called UNLV and said, hey, I might need to take these 2 months off, they're like, okay, you're gone. We're not even going to put your classes on the schedule. So it was kind of a tough decision to do that.
Yeah.
But I got down to like maybe the last 12 people, and then I wasn't chosen.
Oh,
and I
that's
think that it was
awesome.
kind of a blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
because when I watched the show, it was very cutthroat.
Wow.
And I don't have that in me.
Yeah.
I can't like.
Yeah,
elbow.
and they,
What did you make?
That-
What did
that's-
you
It's
make
always
for the
interesting
show?
though.
Well, they made. I mean, they would have a challenge. Like you have to make a
Oh.
dining room
dude,
table.
that's where their editors come into play. Their editors
Yeah, they
set that
make
up
it,
too.
They make
Yeah.
it look
you know.
a certain way
Yeah.
versus what
so
reality
basically
is.
what you're saying is that over the time period that you were there, you had to make several different types of
Every
things.
week you had a
And
challenge. So it
and
was
do
like
something.
maybe a 6 or 8, 10-week
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I take a little bit more time on my design, so I couldn't design something within 2 hours and go and have.
So who are the judges? Oh. Were they people you deem worthy?
I don't even remember who they were now.
Like that'd be the thing to me. It's like if you don't even value the judge,
2015.
I was
you,
gonna
you don't
say.
even
I don't
value
even
the
remember
judges.
what I had
and-
for
okay.
dinner yesterday. So,
I can't
I hear
remember
ya.
if I brushed my teeth this morning.
Right.
So-
Slow your roll.
So-
yeah.
Well, so is there sort of any certification licensing, like what Rick was saying?
You mean
like,
to have my business?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, to do what you're doing so that people will know that you're, the real
Legit.
deal.
Well, I took it all through high school and college. I have a degree in furniture design,
Okay.
and then I also have a 4-year apprenticeship that I completed. So I'm a union carpenter. So I've built bridges and hospitals and homes and I've really thought about the tiny home market because I'm fascinated with. I'm tiny anyway.
It is
so it's
fascinating.
badass.
Me too.
So it'd be
really
big home.
For me,
Big home market.
but you can't live in a tiny home in Las Vegas. They're not allowed here.
So do you feel?
Wait, they're not? Wait,
No.
wait.
Go ahead.
Please
Go ahead.
explain this to me.
The,
Why?
the tiny you cannot get zoning to put a tiny home on your property.
Why? Please
Talk
can
to the
somebody-
building department or the
you guys
zoning
explain
Are you
department.
talking about new land or land that's already existing where there's homes
You can't
on?
even put one in your backyard.
Oh, I love.
Well, I can understand maybe not putting one in your backyard because it's already zone resident, but like brand new land for development, they wouldn't allow a small
don't-
home
no, I
development.
don't think-
What
I
if you
think it
kept
depends
wheels
on
on it?
I think it depends on the size of the tiny home. Okay.
But it's tiny.
I understand that, but hey, here's another question.
but really tiny.
Listen,
Why is you guys?
tiny.
Wait, who's laughing over there? No,
wait. Jamie is pretty much up on this because she's in the process, or I believe in the process of trying to change where she's currently living, and I've been kind of curious as to getting an update on that as to what's happening with your house.
Rick, it's a tough time right now to figure out remodeling or building or any of that right now. And every time I start thinking about it, I get so overwhelmed with it that I just put it on the back burner.
Well,
Yeah.
this is something that the listeners actually need to know about. You interviewed with, almost hired a designer or someone of that
An
effect,
architect, right. Architect,
and tell the viewers how that worked, because we've had other builders online, and your experience was totally the opposite of what they were portraying. So it's interesting to get an actual.
So I have some friends that just had remodeled their home, and they gave me the name of a gentleman that might act as a overseer for it. So he gave me the name of an architect. The architect came out to my house and said, I kind of see the vision that you see in this house. And I have a half-acre lot, a massive indoor pool up on my property. My indoor pool is twice the size of my house, of my living area.
Right.
So I've got a 3,500 square foot pool.
Damn, keg party at your house this
Wow.
Keg party at her house this
I
weekend.
can tell you this, and I
Okay.
know this is really
Oh,
off
yeah,
topic, but
wow.
someone told me that if I rented the pool out for porn making, that I'd kill in the
Dude, for
market.
sure.
Right,
I think that would work.
Multiple streams of income is important.
Absolutely.
So-
You got to drain that puppy.
It's got chlorine. So,
No,
No,
just
you still have to
chlorinate.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like nudity?
Wait,
That's
That was
that's
really
what porn
off
would
topic,
involve.
though. Sorry.
I'm curious what Corinne
I'm
meant by,
sorry
by
that you don't
drain
Not too
experience that
familiar with it. Nothing about that.
What are you talking about? Drain that puppy.
Corinne's always got her
Yeah.
mind thinking that's what it is. Corinne, can you explain
Corinne
yourself?
Corinne knows.
Corinne, can you explain that?
Corinne, please,
This
please
has to do
explain.
with
Drain the pool. I don't even like to go swimming
Corinne?
in the gym after
Corinne?
Brett. I don't like.
This
to go
is us we're
swimming
talking
after-
about. You can be honest.
I just told, yeah. I'm like,
Oh, this is fun. The truth comes out.
But anyway, so the architect, we had sort of discussed it, and he said, look, I charge this much for a design fee, and I said, okay, so I'm going to get some blueprints out of that. And he said, send me some pictures of homes that you like the exterior. We went through that, and then he said, okay, before we go much further, we need to do a contract. So when I went to do the contract, I realized that his fee didn't include blueprints. It was just the design fee. And I'm like,
the
well,
heck?
that seems a little bit open-ended for me.
How much? So how much were the blueprints going to be
So it was about $4 a square foot.
for the blueprints?
No, for the
Oh,
design.
okay.
I'm
For
sorry.
the design
But he
without the
said
blueprint.
the blueprint, that's without it. So it was
Yeah.
going to be $10,000 just for a house design. And I'm like, but what are the blueprints going to be? Like, that seems
Wow.
really.
That's-
Oh, it was an extra.
Well, he
thing?
was going to do it, but it was an extra. And I was like, but give me a price. I mean, tell me it's $8 a square foot, but give me a
Something.
finite price.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I can't do that because we don't know, what kind of plans you're going to need, what kind of mechanicals, all of that.
Then why would you give money?
Why would
If
I?
you can't do
Yeah.
that, that should be a
It's
part of it. That
So
should be
Yeah.
I was
a
right
part of
back
the contract.
to square one. I
Yeah.
was right back.
You know
Yeah.
what? We had the same kind of thing happen, and it wasn't that it was to that extent, but even just getting the house repainted It was, I
Really?
can't even can you send
No,
me the quote?
I know how they work.
Can you just send me the quote? And then actually ended up getting referred out. It was, and somebody that I know, he's like, listen, we just don't have the manpower right now.
Well,
and
that's
it's crazy.
a big issue right now. Is
Yeah,
manpower.
and then materials.
Yeah.
Materials are another issue.
Materials are horrible.
Yeah.
I buy wood every week. I get deliveries in my shop. There have been certain products that have quadrupled in price.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I really believe that the price of the material hasn't quadrupled. I think that the lumber yards are
It's come down
Taking
though, right?
advantage.
Has it
It
come,
is-
Capitalism.
the cost has not come
very,
down?
very, very
Because they
low.
know they can.
Really?
They know they
They
can
know
get
they
it,
can stick it
dude.
to you.
No
Yeah,
more,
they-
no less.
Yeah,
One
because
of
that's the thing.
One
now.
of the things you need to explain, because Dan's thinking on one level and you're on another. She's dealing not with building wood.
Right.
Okay. She's dealing with high end,
Like quality
Like
wood.
the
High-end-
Yeah.
high-end.
High-end wood.
high end
like actual
wood. Those
lumber.
are two different markets.
I didn't
Yeah.
know there was a difference between high-end wood and
There
just
is.
regular wood.
There
Yeah,
is.
there is.
As a female, I will
There
tell
is.
you there is.
Depends on the personality.
There's a big difference. Oh, I'm so sorry,
Settle
Dan.
down.
I'm so sorry.
Settle down.
I am just sitting here
This is super fun. Let's
And I
just
got
keep
Shannon
talking
over
about-
here telling me exactly why there's a difference.
One's like Fleming's and the other one's like Denny's steak.
Oh,
All right.
Fleming's is still, I don't know.
You want to eat at Fleming's or you want to take your ass to Denny's,
Jenny,
bro?
what are you gonna do here?
So I want to
You get what you get.
I got to kind of bring this back a little bit. So here's the
Why?
thing. Yeah, right? So I'm looking at the situation with, entrepreneurs, right?
Okay.
And Vegas in general.
Well, let me
And-
tell you,
And so do you feel that like being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, that
the best.
are you confident moving forward? Like you have no issues moving forward with your job?
Well, I with the exception of Rick, I think I'm older than everybody else in this room, and I do see an.
I don't know,
end.
because Rick's middle-aged, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm right behind him, right there, buddy.
Rick was telling us about the Civil War last week.
Yours has a full head of hair.
I mean, I see an
You know I love
end
you,
in my
Rick.
teaching
That's okay.
career. My with COVID and with the way people are about masks and vaccines and everything, which is a whole other discussion. But I don't want to keep teaching forever. I don't. And unfortunately, I have a list on my computer that's just a mile long.
Yeah.
People that say, put me on a list as soon as you offer classes. I want to take a class. I don't see myself doing it.
Jamie's business is not going to stop. And the reason being is because, as you can see, Jamie's personality.
She's awesome.
She is awesome. And it's the same way in class.
I say it like it is, Rick.
Yeah, she does say it like it is, but it's just she's a freaking magnet. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Her personality.
What about this? So, like the housing market here, because this, we talk about where the housing market's headed, right? And you were back in 2004, 5, 6. You
Yeah.
got here. When did you get
4.
here?
I got here in 4.
So we saw huge issues, right, back when the crash happened. What do you think about this market? Do you think this market's a good time to buy, or you don't think so?
For real estate or for
Just in
furniture?
general, like I know a lot of people that need to buy a house, a primary residence.
Look,
Just your
I'm
opinion.
probably saying
Yeah.
everything against you guys,
No,
but
it's fine.
I think you're crazy if you buy a house right now. You're buying it at the top. I know you could probably sell your house at the top, but what if you don't have a house? What if you don't? What if you're renting right now? And
Yeah.
maybe you're just throwing your money away in rent. But
When did you buy your house?
2004.
Okay.
About the middle of it. My house is well worth more than what I got.
So you'll
for.
never be able to get a mortgage payment or a house for what you have right now for what you paid for it. So it makes sense for you to probably not go anywhere, which is why we don't have any homes on the market.
Right.
But I do 100% disagree with you about you buying at the height of the market right now.
Really?
We're just getting started, dude.
Yeah,
you have,
it's gonna
you
keep
have
going
no
up.
idea, dude.
It's
We're just
not
getting
stopping.
started.
And I will tell you this, that I can tell that by the number of people that walk in my shop for furniture
Mm-hmm.
because it is relentless. Every single day.
Callie's
the
just
phone.
getting started moving here.
It's insane.
And their money is twice what it is here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and jump. We got to jump to a different topic here, and I want to kind of segue to something else. We're going to continue to talk over here about just different things going on with the market, but I want to bring up a different topic we're going to talk about with social media, women, businesses, and owners doing business on social media. And, Shannon and also Corin, they have some information that they want to talk about. So I'm going to let you guys take the floor here. So go ahead. You guys talk to me about what's going on with social media and business owners and women in business in general.
Well, I think we're going to get specific on just a one topic within it because there's so much involved.
Okay.
But Corinne, you get to start
You're
because
but
there's so fun.
Well, okay,
That's fun.
Right?
I just posted about the good, women business owners on social media, the good, the bad, and the catfish. So, the
catfish.
Too dumb to be a catfish.
Those two. Catfish, I know.
Oh, that's going to be a good
I'm
one.
in California. What time zone are you in? Baby, I'm in Vegas. So
Right.
I don't know. So anyway, so no, I've been on social media. I did PR and marketing on social media when Facebook first started.
Yeah, you've been doing it forever.
Yeah, I'm middle-aged like you, Rick. So, yeah, I've been doing it forever. So I've seen a lot of the benefits, but it's gotten
Middle-aged.
ugly. It has gotten very ugly, and especially I think for women and for women
What does
business
ugly
owners.
mean? What do you mean
Ugly
ugly?
mean it's like there's scams, there's pics of parts that you don't want to see. Like
You're the one that brought up porn.
I did. No, I didn't. Brett did.
What?
Oh,
I don't
sorry,
even know.
that's all
I
I
don't know what
heard.
porn is.
What? Oh, me neither.
I think the thing about social media is that it's a false. It's just
Yes.
a false.
That's all it is.
Well,
It's
and not
false.
necessarily.
Nothing's is what it is.
Like, here's the thing, and Corinne and I talked about this as women entrepreneurs, business owners. Part of your marketing gets to be on social media. It's a free platform. It's where we get to go in, especially if you're a locally owned business. That's how we connect in with our network. And really what it is a space for you to go and to solidify who you are as an individual and as a business owner, right? And within that, though, there's the people that show up that have a different objective. And I think as women, Corinne laughs. I think as women, I know, cover up, put it away. What's wrong with you? How dare you? And I think as women, it's just a little stickier. And you have to be careful.
Totally.
And I mean,
I think there's a fine line that you guys have that most men probably don't.
I'm
yeah.
having Shannon
You know.
go through all my posts and go, which one should
Oh,
I take
Well,
out?
and the
My
other thing,
goodness
too,
gracious.
If you
So,
if you
seriously.
just put the least little bit of something that someone might find offensive too, and you might
Anything.
not mean any pain by that,
Yeah.
but somebody can just attack you, and it turns into something that's just really ugly, and
Yeah.
it's unfair.
Well, and I've found, and I've talked to, obviously with consulting, talked to so many different business owners, especially females, that are building online. I'm like, listen, there comes a point where, number one, yes, not everything gets to be put out there.
Yeah.
And when it comes to
Yeah.
politics, are you vaccinated or not,
Right.
religion, you should probably keep that out of your stuff.
Yeah.
Unless your target demographic is X,
Well,
person.
what was the old thing? You don't talk about
Yeah.
religion,
Money,
poli-
or
yeah.
politics.
And now it's vaccines.
Dude, what I believe has nothing to do with me
but
selling you a house.
But like this guy, Brett, he gets to talk about money, right? That's something that is a part of what he does,
Right.
and so it makes sense. It's not offensive, and so it's just really being clear on your stand on who your target
Yeah.
demographic is, but also what you put out is what you get back. And so people ask me, because I've been online for a while, and Corinne knows, like I'm active.
You're awesome.
I'm active
Yeah.
online. I do my thing on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, the whole thing. And I don't get very many creepers. It's not a thing for me. Maybe I could say three.
Why do you think that is?
3 times a year, maybe.
Why
And
do you think that
that's-
is?
That's pushing it. And here's what I tell every woman that I talk to about marketing online is you have to be really clear in your messaging and the energy that you put out consistently. It is very clear that I am not the woman that you want to send that picture to.
Oh, she brought the finger up. Did you see that?
I
It is very clear.
I was
that-
like, yeah.
cut your
Yeah.
face off. I will find
I make
you
it very
and
clear
your
I am not the
children.
one that you want to send it.
When that
That's
finger
funny.
comes up, man, that's
That's
a
awesome. I make
serious
it very
business
clear.
right
With
there.
these nails, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
But you know what? You have to be, I think, sometimes because you've learned that through
Yeah. Well,
what you've had to do.
And Corinne and I talked about it. There comes this point where you get these messages, and these typically it's a male. I'm not saying it's always a male.
Let's face it,
I don't
it's always a male.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Let's just
I'm
be
sorry.
honest.
But typically they'll reach out, and it's because they want to sit down with you for a business conversation. And you're like,
Where are those
this
men?
feels
Dang.
weird. There's no connections. There's no. Okay.
You sell
Get
auto
on a-
parts and you want to
Yeah.
sit down in a
When that
sales
happens
meeting.
to me, though, I always say, "Give me a little more."
Yeah. You know what I do?
You work at Napa Auto Parts.
I
and you-
make them get on a phone call with me, and then typically this is what they do. They'll end up saying, "Well, why don't we go and meet up in person and have a dinner?" I'm like,
Dude, what is
"How
wrong?
about
Like, they don't
no?"
think that Oh, okay. You just
No,
tricked me.
you can meet me in my office. Thanks, but no thanks.
So,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
let me-
by the way, I
wanna
charge
say-
a $150 retainer just to meet. What's up?
I want to say this
I've
though.
done that.
So I want to say this. We'll go back to that, but I think what we're talking about is women obviously are thriving, right? If you do it right, doing social media. But there is some people out there that may promote themselves and they're on the marketing side of it, but they don't really have an expert or they're not an expert of that craft. And that doesn't coincide with what they do. So when you're marketing yourself, it's hard because I know people like, oh, I got an investor, right? And you call them and they're so good at marketing, like, man, this guy knows everything. And you're like, I want to talk to so-and-so. And they're like, oh, no, he's not the guy behind the scenes or the person behind the scenes. It's this other person you need to talk to. And I think that's what we're talking about.
It's a shell game.
Right. It's
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's mass majority. And like, here's the thing. One of the best compliments that I can get, especially when it comes to meeting somebody that I've been connected with online and then meet in person, is when they say, yep, you're just like you are online.
Yeah, that's a good.
Best
point.
compliment,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But there's a small,
What you see is what
it's
you
a-
get.
Yeah, what you see
Absolutely.
is what you get. Like, I'm not going to give you all my stuff, right? But who I am is who I am. Take it or leave it. But mass majority, that's why I asked you, how did we do the research
Well, I
to
think
make
you're
sure?
talking about integrity. I
Yeah.
think you're just talking about integrity.
It's a small percentage of people that have that. They
Yeah.
don't even know what that means.
They don't.
So what's interesting about this to me, and I'm going to make it real estate related, is that the same thing has been going on since day one. And I remember being in a real estate office in 1976, and this guy came in. He was a brand new real estate agent. He sat in. This is a large group. We probably had 50 agents in this one office, and he wanted to know how to sell a house. He wanted to know how to list a house. He was brand new, and what he really wanted to do was to market his book. And so once he sold a house, he wrote a book, and it was the social media of the thing. He took out a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times stating that he was the guy and read my book, and he'd only freaking done one transaction.
Rick, that's
with,
exactly what I'm talking about
Yes.
on social media.
Yes,
These
and
God.
people
that's-
are
but
posers.
I'm saying
Yeah,
that's
they're
what I'm
posers,
saying. But
yeah.
I remember that happening in '76.
Did he sell any?
Of course.
Any houses?
No, books.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he sold
for sure.
because he was gone
For sure.
within 60 days after that.
Wow.
But that is when you, and that's why
Huh.
I think it's important to remember everything that you see online. You have to make sure that you understand that it's most likely not
You need to
real.
filter it.
Even like the women that go on and they have the perfect body and they turn and then you see them in person, you're like, oh, that is not what you look like
Yeah,
online.
it's all
It's
fake.
not the same
I'm going to say
thing.
this: somebody brought up catfishing, right? You ever see those realtors that are like late in their years, but they still have the same picture when
From
they were
10
in their,
years ago?
Like, they're in their 20s
10-year
and 30s.
challenge?
And you're like,
Listen.
wait a second, I got this meeting
Dude.
because
What
of
if
that
they think
picture.
that
Where
they
is
look like
she?
Dude,
themselves?
I can go down the list of name names right now.
That's my pet
honestly.
peeve. That is my pet peeve.
Yeah.
So that's why I get my picture taken every year on my birthday. My
Do you?
professional photo. Just
Do
so.
you?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's very cute.
I know.
You're
Because I
very
want to
cute.
see. I want to see. It's like, okay, this year was I was almost swamped.
Whoa,
This year was a bad year.
This
gonna
year
say
was
the
a shit show. This year was a good year. We got you.
But I mean, it's a predominant thing, and
Yep.
women in business, and I think just in life, you're going to have to really
You know what?
adapt to social media because look, people start there, right? If you're looking for real estate, lending, I don't know, your business. I mean, they're going to start and say,
Yeah.
okay, let me do my research. They have
You have to find a mentor.
Data.
You have to find somebody
Right.
you trust and somebody that knows what they're talking about. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
In my field, there was an author that wrote a book about owning a furniture company. And I will tell you that when I read his book, it blew my mind. And I think every furniture company, a small furniture company in the world, should buy his book and read the struggles that he went through. I don't know if there's a similar book like that for real estate, but
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, there
there,
are.
there
Yeah.
must be. But there's probably for every great book that's out there, there's 40 or 50 books that are full of crap.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how do
and-
you pick out the good ones?
But here's and you actually said this earlier. You have to. You sucked for a while.
Sucked
you,
for a while.
I suck at plenty of things, right?
What?
Like, let's be real.
Dan, keep it clean, bud. It's a family
Listen.
show. Jesus, Dan.
I wasn't going there. That's you, sir, not me.
See, you get around a bunch of
But-
guys on a podcast. You
I
don't even know what you're
know.
getting
It
into.
I know,
just
it's
came
super
off
fun.
weird. I was kind of
Yeah.
shocked. I was just like, what?
what's
Dan
happening?
French, dirty
But-
podcast host.
what just happened?
So, but you gotta go suck at
This
it.
is it.
You know, you talk
It's all
about real
because of
estate.
you, Jamie. We're never like this.
Wow. It's you. You opened us up. But it doesn't matter what the industry is. You do get to go suck at it for a while, and it's okay to be an amateur. And when you're online, just be authentic. Show who you truly are and where you're at in your business. And you have a market. Yeah. It's just not going to be maybe the high end yet, and that's okay. You're going to get there.
That's the great thing about social media. You get to show off who you are. So who you're going to be dealing with.
Just be real.
As a person.
All right, so we got to keep going. Do you guys have any final thoughts? You or Corinne, Shannon or Corinne, you guys have any final thoughts about this whole topic you have with the
Keep
women's?
it coming because we're going to
you guys just wait until you hear some of these messages
that's
next
part
time.
2 of this.
Yeah, that's
So any guys who want to catfish, just so you know, women get together and they talk shit about you.
And then we put
So
your
you're the next
face.
target if you think you're special.
Yeah, we put your face online. It's great.
Right?
All right, let's go over to Rick Raines. Rick is going to talk about property management, some stories. I know there's not too much that typically goes on a week-to-week basis. I got some things I want to ask you real quick, but just bringing a little bit of data that I got. So let's go ahead. Rick, what's going on over there?
Hey, I was thinking about this catfish thing. I'm just the opposite. If you look at my online picture, I don't have all this hair. I'm going the other way.
It's lies, all lies.
Now I wanted to piggyback off of what we've been talking about with the market and the way it's going. And so I did some statistics or some analysis. I found this really interesting. Now, it's a little bit out there, but stick with it. Stick with me. 2.6 million people live in the greater Las Vegas Valley. Mm-hmm. All right?
2.6?
2.6. 1.9 million of them are over the age of 18, which means they could all potentially buy real estate. We currently only have 2,000 properties for sale.
2,600. Yep.
Yeah, a little over 2,000 properties for sale.
Yep.
That means that there are close to, just in the valley, if everybody decided to buy, you're competing against 975 other people for any one property. So I know that we keep saying how small the inventory is getting. This is hopefully giving you a little bit of an idea what's happening. And that doesn't include out-of-state buyers. It doesn't include institutional buyers. It doesn't include any of those people.
That's crazy.
And if you're in the lower end of the market, there's more potential competition. So that 975 is even bigger.
What do we have for total homes on the market?
Total homes on the market over the last 3 days went down again.
Oh, God.
How'd I know?
Another 100 properties. We went from 3,000 to 2928.
These
So
are
we're down
sales
another-
and
Condos and residential single family.
Mine
Right.
went off the market, sold closed today.
So-
And again, our rental market, just for the past 3 days, so those of you, if I'm not giving you statistics, you need to watch on Saturdays as well, because that's when we go over everything. But we expanded again on the rental side as well. And Dan, you were going to ask me some questions. If you don't ask me questions, I have a bunch of other stuff I can go
Well,
over.
I just want to bring up the fact that
I have stories.
the rental
I got
market
stories.
in December. So I did a little bit of research on just December. The median price for rents leased out was $1,875. All right,
Is that apartment or home?
single family residence. Okay, and then you're looking at the average price of units leased was $2,053. So there's not much fluctuation from
No.
we talked about this 3 months ago for the $1,800 month roughly to where it is
Right.
today, correct?
Well, it went from 17 to whatever you just said, 1875.
1875.
And then the other figure I reported on Saturday was basically 2,100, and you said it's 2,083. So
Yes.
yeah. So the statistics that I pulled up and what you pulled up are basically exactly the same.
So if you're looking out there and you're a landlord, right? Is there any restrictions going on with landlords as far as we know that we had the moratorium, all these things going on? Is all of those things cleared at this point? Because I think a lot of people tune into the show, but they don't really know, has those things expired at this point, or is it federal still kind of keeping that in place?
Federal's still keeping that in place. State's still keeping that in place. It again, as I've reported in the past, if your tenant has applied for a federal or state program, they're still off limits.
Really?
But it's such a small percentage. Most everybody has moved on, and one of the things that Dan touched on Saturday was the number, and Bret, the number of people that are in the market, and the fact that everybody's got a "we're hiring" sign. Just in November, 4.5 million people left their jobs, which was 3%. In other words, they didn't get fired, they left.
Yeah.
And about 40%, 4 out of 10 workers said they'd look for a new job if their employer makes them come into the office 5 days a week. So,
well, I got
so if you're looking for employment right now, with the statistics, if you're looking for employment right now, for every person that's looking for employment, there's a job and a half for them out there. 1.5 jobs for every person.
Yeah.
It's been almost 2 years. Talking about
And that's what I'm
changing
saying
our
is,
society.
so if people now 2 years into it are still quitting, they're bringing in money some shape somehow somewhere else.
There are currently over 10 million job openings, and just on the people that are unemployed, there's only 6 million unemployed. So
where's everybody getting their new money?
I don't know about where they're getting their new
That's
money,
the
but
thing.
the point is,
You know
that
what?
they're not trying to fill those jobs.
I know.
It's the big
but-
pools and porn. That's,
I mean, it pays well, I hear.
I've heard. How would you know, sir? Yeah, careful.
Dang,
Not
I
for
aged
Dean.
out of that industry.
So I want to say one last thing, Rick, and you can just answer this
Heard
really
through the
quick.
grapevine.
I was watching something where in Los Angeles they had a tenant, right, totally wrecked the house. Mold was growing in the house, and they had to demolish it. Like, what happens in that situation? Does the tenant have to pay for it? Because I'm just curious. Like, let's say you go in and you just completely have issues with the house and you leave it in terrible shape. Like, how does that work for getting that money back for a landlord?
You take the tenant out into the middle of the desert.
First of all, the tenant isn't going to be on the hook. All right,
They're not going to
Really?
be on the hook.
They're not. Well, prove that they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so that you may have a bunch of mold problems in there that have to be demolished.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is that the owner's insurance is going to step up.
Yeah.
So that's basically where most of the money is going to come in. If it's something that's on a much smaller scale, let's just say there's $10,000 worth of damage and you have a $2,000 deposit. That means you have to go to small claims and you got to chase them down
For the other eight?
For the other eight.
You're not going to get it.
You're not
Right, it's not worth the money.
And here in Vegas, odds are really high you're not going to get it. But if you were someplace else in the country, like the Midwest, where, fortunately, people are more stand-up-ish and they don't move from job to job as much, you're going to know where they're at. They're smaller communities, so the odds of you getting
you won't get away with it in the Midwest.
some sort of money back is much higher in the Midwest than it is in the coast and the larger cities because people can vanish.
Let's move over. Okay, so everybody out there, we're going to move off from Rick and move over to Bret. And Bret's going to talk. What do you want to talk about, real estate or crypto? Or do you want to do both?
A little bit of both. I mean,
Tell what's going on in the real estate
real
world?
estate is what it is. I mean, we're down more homes than we were last week, and that was already down for the week before and down from the week before and so forth. So we know it's going to be slower in January, but
Yeah, but I think people want to know this, okay? It's not, they want to relate to you and relate to what people go through. I know that there's certain properties that are they're saying, hey, I'll put 25 above. That's happened. I think with homes being at 2,300 roughly, right, on the market, Rick said how scarcity homes are. The question is, are we back at the market we were at last year?
Pretty close.
Really? So we kind of did a cycle.
No, I would say this. I don't see the influx of buyers that we had last year at this point, but the supply is still the same, if not obviously less, which is the problem. So, I mean, you can have half the buyers that we had before, and there's still too many buyers for the homes on the market. So I just did a search yesterday for a cash buyer. He wanted just Summerlin. So we're talking all Summerlin from built in 2001 to brand new. From 1.1 million to 2.2 million. 14 homes. That's it. In all of Summerlin.
That's crazy.
In a $1 to $2 million price point.
That's crazy.
The Ridges,
That's crazy.
the three cheapest homes in the Ridges started at 2.2 up to 2.5.
Really?
After 2.5, you're going above 3.
Yeah, Ridges is. Yeah.
I mean, it's
also a name.
crazy. Between
$2
up to
million
$2 million, there's 14 homes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
In Summerlin.
I mean,
That's crazy.
he emailed me back. He goes, horrible on the list. I'm like, I know, I felt bad sending it to you, but you'd think $2 million would get you something.
It doesn't.
Well, we all know it's a new world, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
starting-
it's just insane,
So-
man. When I started 16 years ago, if I sold a $250,000 house, I thought I was balling.
So I did some
Yeah.
data I want to bring up real quick, and you can bring me in on this. So in December, we had average price units sold was 425,000. Okay, that's up. We're at 420. This is December.
Across
Okay.
the country,
No, in Vegas.
420.
That's about right.
You mean the price?
425,000. Yeah, the
Oh, I
average
thought you
price.
said
Median.
that. I thought you meant the volume.
The
like
median
400.
price of
Okay.
units sold.
Okay,
about
okay,
right.
was
425.
425.
Yeah.
The median price of units sold for condos was 242,000 in December.
That's about right.
Okay, that's up from 186,000.
So here's the problem with that, though, is people say, "Oh, well, you know, condos and townhouses are going to be cheaper because you're paying $250 for it than you are $425, whatever it is." But keep in mind, a lot of these HOAs for these condos, you're paying $175, $200, $225 a month, and on a single family house, you're paying say maybe $50 a month for your HOA.
Yeah, but a lot
so you're
of
paying
times-
an extra $200 a month.
So the reason for that had a much larger percentage
Correct.
increase, and that's because the lower end is going to move faster than
Yes,
the higher end.
of course.
because you got more demand.
And that was my point. And
Yeah.
look, and here's the thing about the condos is that people want to buy in a nice location. Sometimes you can't buy a home at that price
Correct.
point at a good location, so you have to move to condo or
Yep.
you have to move to a townhome, right? Even
That's
though
exactly
you're
what
paying
they're
a high
doing.
HOA.
So it's kind of like we've talked about this past year, which is our people are starting to rearrange how they buy. They're starting to buy things they never thought they'd buy. You know, everybody get together on a mortgage payment in a house, 5-6 family members versus versus your traditional 1 or 2, and that's what people are starting to do. They're finding new ways to do what they need to do to buy a house and get something.
Or
Yeah.
live in an
Investment.
area where you didn't really.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
your
And
first
they
or
wouldn't,
second
and then
choice.
now they're saying, okay, well, we got to do something.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to bring up, or just 2 other things, actually 3 other things.
Holy
That's a lot of things.
Actually, I
Have
got a
time.
whole
7
half
o'clock
hour.
Tuesday
My
night, my
goodness.
brain's already shut
You
down.
Now
got
it's
more
going to be
minutes.
all about me. Everybody ready?
Yay.
No, but I'm going to say high-rise condos, our starting price point, or the price point that we ended up in December was $379,900
For a high rise?
High rise.
That's not bad, man.
It's not bad. And I want to bring up hotel occupancy. Okay, we saw that back in right after COVID, whenever we started coming back to Vegas, we were averaging about 1.5 million visitors to Vegas. We're back well above the 3 million
A month.
in December. And so I see this happening where we may exceed that average 40 million that we typically get, 40 to 45 million. We're right back to where we're at. You look at the weekend occupancy rate is running at 90%. Now, I also want to say that the average daily room rate here is $155 a night. It's not bad. I mean, you're still going to Vegas, and that's an average. It doesn't mean you're going to go stay, over at the Aria, and it's going to be $155. I'm just saying that's the average, so that's not a bad deal. Also, gaming revenue. It's weird because in November, the gaming revenue was $755 million that they made in November. So, I mean, this data is telling me that Vegas is back, and it tells me that Vegas is really, all the concern that they said, hey, is Vegas going to get back to where it's at? Now, I understand you got CES, some of these places like, that
Dude,
came
listen,
in.
Vegas is notorious for a rebound. Like Vegas, that's what Vegas
We're
we're
not
known
going
for, dude.
anywhere.
Vegas has been hit by so many punches, and
Yeah.
dude, Vegas doesn't fade away. We only get stronger. That's what Vegas does, man.
People
I mean,
want this.
no matter what's happened to the economy, we've taken our punches. Vegas always is around and always keeps on growing, man. We're Vegas, dude. We're resilient.
So how do you think that
Go Vegas, bro.
But
Vegas
how
strong.
do you think that
Vegas strong.
that the current employment situation is going to impact how quickly it continues to get back to normal? Because let's think about this. If people fly in and they got to wait half an hour to frickin' find a cab, they can't get into a restaurant because they don't have the people to serve them.
Exactly.
They don't have all
Right.
of these things happening. They're like, dude, I know we're here, but I'm not going back to Vegas. I mean, that sucked.
I don't think that'll happen.
No, and honestly,
I think no one ever has a bad time here,
And
period.
I was talking to somebody about this, or actually, I think it was earlier today, and I'm like, listen, no matter which way you cut it, Vegas always has the best service. So you could go
Yeah.
somewhere else in the country,
Yeah.
and they're fully staffed, and they have all the things, and we're still better.
yeah, dude,
So-
there's everyone else and there's Vegas when it
yeah.
comes
Well,
to
but
yeah.
listen, he has a good point. CES had 75%
Well, I
roughly
get
people
that,
cancel
but-
because they're worried about Omicron. And look, if there's no employment,
Sure.
We just talked about it last Saturday that I went to a place I typically eat, Teriyaki Boy, right?
Yeah.
And there was nobody there. And they said, hey, guess what? We don't have any workers,
Yeah.
And then the person had to come outside and they had to deliver the food by handing it to me because they only had one cook and he was also the cashier. He was also the CEO. I mean,
That's the same thing.
also the CEO.
That's the same thing that the wife and
Also
I
the accountant.
have been running into for weeks. We go to our favorite places. Now it's not on the strip, but we run into the same thing where there's like 2 waitresses in the entire place, and who knows
Man,
if there's
I'm
anybody
I'm just ready to go crawl into my metaverse.
I mean, honestly,
I'm
just
cool with just
ask
staying in
me.
there.
I'll tell you where to go. I'll tell you the good places.
Sell my
It's
virtual
fine.
real estate. I'm cool.
let's end this right here real quick, though. I want to say, what do you have to say about cryptocurrency?
We dipped below 40,000 for the first time in a long time, or I should say months, and now we're back up to like 42. So it's been
What does that mean for
Dude.
somebody, though, when you say that? I mean,
Well, it means this.
It was at 58,000
from
or
about
65,000.
in the last 45 days to 50 days, it's gone down probably 30%, 35%. But that's just Bitcoin doing its thing, man.
gotta be long
So
term.
Bitcoin determines everything else. I mean, all other altcoins, let's put it this way. Other coins will have their runs where they go up maybe 40, 50%, 30% some days, but it's not during the same days that Bitcoin's going down. So Bitcoin takes everything with it. If Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down with it. So it's just doing its thing. We'll find out, man, where it's going to do. I mean, it might just stick around this price for a while.
I want to bring up one thing. So I had a discussion with you about...
You're going to send me a bunch of questions.
Yeah, well,
Still haven't.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to ask you one question. So people want to know what the blockchain is, and you said, well, it eliminates all the guesswork. You don't have to have that middle person. And
What does it do?
What? No, listen. What the question was, because we got to end here, but I'll just let you answer this. My biggest concern is, yes, you can put it all on the blockchain, and it's supposed to be recorded, and it's a stamp. But how does somebody make those adjustments internally as those things change? Like, for instance,
It gets added to the block.
if you're on title, right, and let's say that you have a lien, or let's say that something comes up and you need to add that, who adds that? Because obviously the blockchain ain't going to add that.
Yeah, it gets added to the blockchain.
Who does that?
You just enter it into the blockchain.
So you
it's
as
like
a-
a form. You go on like a data thing and you enter it, and then it goes into the blockchain.
Yeah,
It's
but you would have to
it's
do it yourself.
No, you enter it into the blockchain, and then it gets mined. So like for the Ethereum or smart contract, a miner will mine that. All a miner does. All right, that's another discussion.
I literally was
Yeah.
thinking the
Yeah,
same thing.
so
Basically-
you send it to the Ethereum blockchain, and then the computers that validate it's being added.
But
That's
the
who
person,
does that.
there's got to be a person behind the scenes doing it, because listen,
No.
you can manipulate that.
It
couldn't you?
isn't somebody. It's computers around the
If you-
world that work
If
together.
you don't put it in, or you put in the wrong information, let's say you're somebody that goes in and does that and adds it to the blockchain, you have a way of manipulation there. You could. It's opening a door that says you could have a situation where somebody just doesn't record it altogether, or they're just going to not record it how it should be. What if you don't know how to do that? For
It's
instance,
got to be a consensus. So that eliminates it not being recorded correctly.
First of all,
Like, that's the whole point of it.
You two guys are discussing different things.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
that's what I'm trying to say to him. Dude, he's asking.
So-
I'm like, dude, you're not even asking me.
I just
a freaking
say
logical
buy now.
question.
Just buy now.
like, I don't even know how to answer your question, man.
To answer the first question is, in the way it's done right now through title companies and recording, you still don't have to take your deed and go get it recorded. You don't have. There's nothing
No,
for
but
you
what
to
I'm
do.
saying is that you have title checking those things, and then if there's adjustments, like let's say you want to add somebody to title or remove somebody, they typically have to go do that, right? Somebody has to physically go do that.
It isn't any different.
Well,
really,
somebody's
person
got to be
involved.
responsible for it. So you're saying that machines can just take care of everything, right?
No, there's still people on the other end.
Right,
because
there's
Brett-
gotta be.
because
Yes,
Brett and
the
I were-
miners.
The
Yeah,
miners.
they
The-
validate it
there are
on the
people.
blockchain.
So what's the
the
difference-
miners validate it on the blockchain.
What's the difference between that and a title rep?
They do it. It's the computer program that does that. What are you talking about? That's what takes away the title rep. That's what takes away the title position. Is they do all that paperwork.
Wait, so are you
So
saying
wait
that
a
title
second.
reps aren't going to have a job in the future? Is
Yes.
that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
pretty much.
And realtors and lenders. We're going to have
So-
to
Wait,
reposition
first
where
off-
we're at.
first
yes,
off, you need to just
100%.
I
stop
just
right
went
now,
down
okay?
that rabbit hole.
That's
Super
just funny.
fun.
Dude, you heard it here first. Yes. You need to
What were you gonna say,
redefine in
Ray?
10 years. All realtors,
I was
lenders
going to say
need to
that
redefine their
I already
position.
forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
All right, we got to end the show.
That was
Everybody,
fun.
thank you guys so
So
much.
sorry.
All right.
Great show. I appreciate everybody out
Go
there.
blockchain.
If you guys, what's
Hey,
that?
have Jamie say how to get
Yeah,
a hold of
Jamie,
her.
go ahead and tell us how somebody can get a hold of you.
You can go on woodworkingclassesinlasvegas.com. and find my schedule, get information about the school. You can go to wooditis.com and see my furniture and call me about a piece of furniture that you need made.
What it is?
What it is.
What it
What
is.
about
What it is.
Are you on social media?
I am. What it is
We
has
just
an
started
Instagram
following
page.
her. So
Oh, you did?
What it is.
Yeah.
What's your handle?
What it is.
What it is? I like
All you got to
it.
know
There's
is
so much
what it
wood.
is.
What it is, what it is.
Wood.
What it is, brah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll be back here on Saturday. I want to say please subscribe to the channel. Also, make the comments in the comment section. If you guys want to get a hold of Jamie, we're going to have her contact information in there. We need to get to 1,000. Support the channel. We need help. Mentally.
You do. You do.
All right, guys, we'll
Thanks,
see you
man.
guys at the next stream.
Vote Pedro.